Welcome to the Answers Yes podcast, where we interview some of the most interesting people that have said yes to opportunities in their life. We hope that through these stories, you can learn to create your own destiny by saying yes along the way. Join us as we explore the new series covering topics such as passion, integrity, and hard work. I'm your host, Jim Riley, and I hope you enjoy these interviews as much as I do. I believe that everyone has an important message worth hearing. Hello, and welcome to the Answers Yes podcast. Sometimes I just laugh at how, we make struggles out of nothing. Today, this is how bad my life is. Today, I was trying to figure out if, for my omega-3s, if salmon oil is better for you than cold water fish oil, maybe that comes from mackerel and sardines. So not even the internet has a clear explanation, but I think maybe it might be leaning towards salmon, but I'm just laughing like, why is this something I'm worried about this morning? Because there's much larger worries in the world. And this weekend, I spent a lot of time. So I own several businesses, and one of those businesses I'm gifting to some people that have been wonderful to me in my life. And it's important, especially based on all the blessings I've had, to be able to gift this. And it's interesting because even in gifting a business that has a real, living, breathing function with assets, and the list goes on, when you start involving the attorneys, I literally spent all weekend, pulling together documents, important assets, things that showed the value of the company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've done this for a long time. It's not easy. And I don't care how much experience you have. I'm in my mid-50s. I've done this a bunch. And it's still not easy, even with my experience. And that is perfect timing for my guest today. And I've got John Ovrom on the line, who is a specialist in this arena. So, John, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's the first time I've ever heard this story. An owner, having an experience selling it. Was this your first one? His first time?
It's not my first time, but
okay.
When you get the list from the attorney that says, "Hey, this is what we'd like to see," and by the way, I appreciate that because that means the recipients are doing their due diligence, right? That they've asked for the important things, the assets of the company, P&Ls, and et cetera, all the way down to the shelving, right? They've done their due diligence, but it's not an easy transaction, no matter how much no matter how organized you are and where you're at in life.
I would say most business owners kind of think of this as like, I'm going to sell my car, I'm going to sell my house, and they kind of consider it a transaction, right? Mm-hmm. There's an inanimate object that I'm going to get rid of. And in reality, like you said, it's not. It's more like a child. This is a being. This is someone that has its own social security number. It's called a FIN number, right? And this thing is going to continue to grow and live on. And you're basically giving up your child up either for adoption or for marriage or ever how you want to view this. And it is a different emotional process than just doing a transaction. We always say it's not about the transaction, it's about the transition.
That's right. That's right. Well, I've got John on the line today for this interview because John is an expert in navigating your business exit like an expert. Sorry about that. You've written a book. You've got a great company that you work, that you've started. Can you tell us more about what you do? Because you'll do a better job explaining it today, because I'm obviously tongue-tied. I didn't get enough omega-3s again.
Basically, I'm like you, Jim. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I didn't fall into this. No one goes to college and goes, you know what? I think I want to go in and help people exit their business. I went into it because I sold a couple of companies and the experience was less than pleasurable. I won't even say enjoyable. And it didn't get better. And I just didn't feel like there was people out there that were really there to help. Yeah. And so I just already started helping friends and starting to help other business people. And then, 18 years later, you find yourself down here, find out there's a lot of other people like you and me that have gone through this, that just want to know how to go about doing this in the right way. And I just didn't really feel like it was out there. I always felt like, an attorney's just giving you legal advice and trying to protect you. You've got a CPA playing tax. You've got a financial planner doing your assets under management. Your broker's just trying to do a transaction. And no one actually cared about me as the business owner and the emotional side of it. Everybody else sees it as a transaction. And it's not. This is my identity. This is what makes me relevant. This is what I get up every day. You're not going to, You're not going to get Tom Brady to walk off the field just because someone said it's time.
Yeah.
When that is who you are. And if you're an entrepreneur like me and you want to be in this game every day, walking off the field is not an easy process. And people just need to understand and need support to know that it's okay to feel that way.
Wow. That's a powerful statement because it is something that we go through. And I love what you just said about, nobody thinks about, me, the owner, the founder, et cetera. I exited my tequila company back in 2017. And for reasons that my wife pointed out, she says, look, Jim, you're not you anymore, right? This business is evolving beyond what your passion, what your values are, what you stand for. And it was driving a different direction because the investors and what they were wanting to see and, the pressures. And not too many people think about you, and she really encouraged me to dig in and make sure that I took care of me as well. And if it weren't for her and kind of, standing by my side to kind of give me that support I needed, I might not have had, I don't know, the ambition to get what I got when I finally left. But it's so important as you talk about exiting the right way. Can you talk about some of the pitfalls people make?
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest challenge we have in getting people out of the business is the owner themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The transactional part, price, finding buyers, going through the process, getting attorneys, going through the due diligence, all data collection, that's tactical.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that owners are generally already busy, and they honestly feel that this business is they need to be there. They, they haven't taken 2 weeks off straight because there's no way the company is going to be able to do it. And I was challenged by my team. I was going to go up to ski in Alaska for a week. And I said, okay, I'll be checking in every day. And they go, no, take the whole week off. And I went, no, got these clients, I got this much. And they said, John, the clients don't need you. You need the clients.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. They're like, think about it. You need it to feel good. That you love helping people. You love being out there. You love connecting. You love that. That's what you love to do. They'll be fine. It's a week.
Mm-hmm.
But my drive, my care for them, I sometimes think I care more than they care. Right. But that's why we're successful at it. But it's really, really hard to walk away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And people think people think that an exit means you have to leave. There are multiple different exits. The first thing that I would tell people is an exit. You can either exit as an employee, you can exit as an owner, or you can exit as an employee and an owner.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do. You can literally put someone in place and own the company. You can literally sell the company and keep working there. You can do a combination. There is no one solution, but people believe an exit means I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm not ready to think about it. What do you think the answer when I say how far, the most traditional answer when I say how far are you out in your exit? What do you think the number one answer is?
All the way, but they're not.
No, 5 years.
5 years.
It's far enough away where I don't have to think about it, but close enough for me to go, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And then they're always 5 years away.
Yeah, interesting. The goal line keeps moving.
Yeah, because the reality is that it's scary, right? Mm-hmm. It's what am I going to do and how am I going to the biggest issue and the biggest question we challenge the owners to, even if they can do an exit, is what's going to make you feel relevant after you leave?
Yeah.
Like you have other business, right? So when you have multiple businesses, for me, retirement isn't an option. I have just another company. I have multiple companies. I can focus on those. You can focus on your podcast. You got to find a passion. You got to find something beyond your business. And so many business owners have only focused 100% in this one game, on this one team, continued to win. And they're scared to death.
A minute ago, you gave some real great nuggets. I hope you're listening today, especially if you own a company. You don't have to exit the same way that you think, the ones that you hear in the papers are on the news. When I exited my tequila company, I exited as an employee, CEO, and left my ownership shares there. Right. Because the opportunity on the horizon for those shares and the potential big game investors that were going to be pouring boatloads of money into the company would make a financial difference on the value of those shares. Now, and I'll just give my own little piece of advice here. If you've got a contract with the company, even though you own it and you're the CEO, make sure it's a good contract. That's what I did. And I left very, very, very happy. And my second piece, and I'm sure, John, you would probably support this, is you can always come back to the industry. I left the alcohol industry when I left the company that I formed, but now I consult in it after taking a couple of years off from that industry. And it feels better now on the consulting side than it did on the ownership CEO side. You can always come back, but make the decision and get out of the way if that's what you've done to exit, right?
I would give people advice that look at their business as a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's, is just stop being a helicopter parent. Just let the company grow. Let it go to high school. Let it go to college. Let it get married, have its own kids, still be a grandparent, still be their parent. You're still a parent, but you don't have to control that. Let the company outgrow you. Let it scale. Be part of its life. Just don't be the whole life. Mm-hmm. If you can get that kind of mindset, like you did with tequila, the company outgrew me where I wasn't happy. That's great. That means you did your job. That doesn't mean you gave up, you quit. No, that means your skill set during the phase that you did was exactly what it needed. Now it's growing up. It's got to move out of the house. It's going to go get its own job. It's got to go figure out how to live on its own. And you get to benefit from that as well.
John, you probably deal with a lot of egos.
Oh no, business owners with egos. No, it's all about me, right? That wagon wheel management, right? Yeah. I'm in the middle and everyone's got to report to me. But I mean, that's our biggest challenge, right? And then the other challenge is people don't actually understand all their exit options. Not only can you do it as an employee owner, but then you can just liquidate your company. It's okay. Mm-hmm. That is an exit. I'm totally good with someone who's loving their ride, enjoying the whole thing, and then shutting it down. You see that with doctors and lawyers and a lot of professionals, because they'll sell off their book, not for much, but they've had a great life. You can give it away, like you're talking about, right? You can sell it to your partners or to key employees. You can quit as a company, as the owner, and just keep it as recurring revenue, kind of mailbox money. You can sell it to a third party, or you can just die at your desk. Mm-hmm. It's okay. That is still an exit. I am not critical of those people who have said, John, I don't need an exit because I'm going to die at my desk. And my answer to them is that is still an exit. We still need to plan. All I ask you to do is get $1 million life insurance. So then your widow or your children or the state, whoever is going to own this and have to manage it when you're gone, we have enough money to put the right people in place, fix it up and sell it and deal with it because you don't want to. Sure. And I'm totally good. Sit at your desk, have your policy, just let your widow know, this is the person I want you to call when I die. Got $1 million to cover it. You'll be fine. Just plan for it. It's still an exit. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm listening to you talk about all these options, and I'm sure there's more than what you've listed off in terms of what exits could look like, and they're all individual based on the company right. and the scenario. And that's why it's so valuable to have somebody like you be involved. I think about being entrepreneurs, it's important to have a coach. That's what I do, right? Coaching people through the business process so they don't have to pay those dummy taxes like I did, right? Exiting your companies is just because you built a company doesn't mean you know how to exit it.
Right. And if the longer that you think about it and plan for it, the better it's by putting your kid taking AP classes in high school because they want to go to college. It's okay. Even if you just get smart, it doesn't mean you have to exit. Our ideal exit is 3 to 5 years away. Mm-hmm. But most clients only call us when they're a year out. They're like, I'm done. That's our traditional owner operated kind of business, right? If you get over 100 million and 200 million, you get a bunch of investors and PE guys behind you. That's a different model. But for most business owners, this is their life. This is who they are. Right. And they're not ready to go until their partner says, I'm ready to go, buy me out. Or, my husband died. Can you help me to do something with my company? Or I've got an offer. What am I supposed to do? Well, how many offers do you get at your house every day? How many letters you get? I mean, you think about it, you plan for it, you kind of go through it. When we talk about an exit, we talk about owners really trying to find out what's their triggering event. Why? Like, Jim, why did you want to, what was the reason you want to sell? Because every day you have pluses and minuses and you want to keep it. And you have other companies and you're keeping them for other reasons. What's the exit that you have for every one of your companies?
Yeah.
Do you have an exit on? Do you have them? Do you have an exit strategy on each one of your companies?
Yeah, I don't. It's good question. Most of my companies are lifelong, but as you said, even if I'm going to stay there till my dying day, I better have that insurance policy, right? Somebody's going to have to deal with the aftermath.
And you're the best qualified. If I don't want to deal with your widow, which we do. I'd rather not deal with your estate and the children, because then it becomes more complicated when I have multiple children. And then the worst one would be dealing with the state, because you don't even have a trust and it just goes to the state, and then you just pretty much have to wind it down. So, we talk about an exit consulting versus, exit advising. Consulting, because there are so many choices that no one really talked to me about. It was either sell it or keep it. And the reality is no, that's not true. There's a lot of choices, and I can plan for it, and I can think about it, and I can grow the value to get to a place for my liquidity, or I can take money out every year. So then I have enough to retire that when I sell it, it's fine. Like the goal is control it. Don't just know that everyone is going to exit on their feet or in a box. So you might as well plan for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talk a lot about in my groups building out your business plan and mission statements, et cetera, your values, but every business plan includes an exit strategy. Yeah. At least in my format. Right. And it's interesting how often that box gets left empty by my clients. Like, hey, what are you going to do here? I look at it in different terms than you do, which you're way more thorough than I am in terms of my review. It's somebody else's plan, and that's not what I specialize in. But it's interesting how people do leave that box empty. And your recommendation is do not leave that box empty.
I understand. I'm an entrepreneur. I love the game. I love business. I love stepping on the court. I love doing it. But in the end, is it going to be a lifestyle business, or are you going to try to make this business something that's going to sustain? Just because you do it doesn't mean it's a saleable business. Yeah. If you want to sell it, then turn it into something that is a saleable business, which means it's a proactive plan. If you just want to have as a lifestyle and you enjoy it, you have the freedom and you love what you do, great. And if anything happens, that's fine too. Just make sure that everybody around you has that plan. I had an 82-year-old come in last week and said he thinks it's time to start developing a plan, but he doesn't want me to talk to his senior management team because he doesn't want them to be worried. I said, they're worried every day that you're not going to actually walk in the door right now. At least they'd actually be quite excited to know that you actually have a plan. Right. Like you're stressed at 82 that you think your senior management team is wondering if you're going to exit. But this is just how the mindset is. Like, no, everybody needs me. I am the glue. I am. And you may be, then you've got yourself a 35-year-old child that's sitting in your basement, eating Doritos and Cokes all day, and you're going to die. And then what's going to happen? You better tee them up and set them up right. Cause so, it's just a mindset. Right. And so we talk about the triggering event, and we've kind of lumped it into two buckets. We've lumped it into out of convenience or out of cause. Right. So if it's out of cause, like I'm going to get out for a cause. I'm going to get a cause because of a death or a divorce or a partner, right? Or some disability, or financially, things are going down, or legally. There are reasons that you need to get out of your business. Yeah. And those exits typically are fast and are not ideal because they're not thought out and planned. But it's still an exit, right? The other one's out of convenience, which is kind of, hey, my business is growing to a place where I can't handle it, or hey, the market's changing and I don't want to reinvest into new capital equipment, and the new technology is kind of outgrowing me and I don't want to deal with it for whatever reason. Those are out of convenience, and those you have a little bit more freedom to decide, are you willing to stay on? Will you train? Will you teach? Like, do you want to put value in this, or do you just want to walk away and drop the microphone and walk off the stage? But those are the ones that you really can work on value and really help the owners figure out what their plan is. And that's why I wrote Exit and Answers. I wrote Exit and Answers because I was a business owner who went through stuff that I had no idea I was going to go through. Emotionally. I didn't know how my employees were going to feel. I didn't know how the market was going to feel. I just didn't know. And I learned out of helping more people that I'm actually normal. Like those fears, that factor. I mean, I talk to our team and I see, you guys, we deal in the world of fear. We deal with fear and the owners don't know it. They fear because change is fearful. And we are dealing with a significant change in their lives. And people just fear it. They don't fear it like, scared fear, just fear like what's going to happen next. And then they get excited and they get it. But if they don't know it, we have to let them understand that they're normal. It's okay. We've been through this and you're going to be better at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great approach. By the way, I've left a couple of companies, got a better purchase price because I agreed to stay on as an advisor for 12 months, which is, I was happy to be doing that because I wasn't completely done, but sometimes it feels good to ease out a little bit.
Right.
And if you can bring them value, I'm a big believer in value for value. And if I can bring them some value on top of the sale, it feels good too. So there's limitless options. And having a coach to walk you through those is so important. Not only could it save you some money or make you some more money, but it could save your life and your happiness.
Right.
You could do it wrong and end up in the toilet here, right?
There's definitely regrets. And then there's definitely like, wow, I'm just so much happier now. I didn't know I was so stressed, or I didn't know. My first one I sold, my wife just said, "You're just a lot happier." And I go, well, it's because everyone's taking me off all the time, before when I was running the companies, because I was always pushing and driving and want more and better and never satisfied and keep going. And she's like, just take your foot off the pedal, coast a little. And I'm like, I'll pass. I will get out of the fast lane. I'll move over a couple lanes, but I ain't getting off the freeway. This is what I do.
Yeah. So you've got a book out. What does your ideal client look like? When somebody comes knocking on your door, who is it that you are hoping is on your door? What set of circumstances?
So it's a great question, right? So, multiple partners instead of a single owner. Can you guess why?
I have no idea. The challenge?
No, because when you're a single owner, you kind of have this little kingdom God complex, like everybody's on me.
Yeah.
And you bless other people to do the work, but you're really not. You know that you have ultimate control. If you and I are partners and you and I are working together and my yin is your yang, or we have a couple investors, you have to compromise. You have to listen. You have to learn. So you're actually willing to listen. And so we actually find when you have multiple partners that there are, 2 is better, right? 10 is not, right? So there's a fine line, right? But if you said my ideal, that we deal with a lot of solopreneurs because that's what's a lot out there. But if I had a choice, it was, you and I came to the table, I'd be like, that's cool because these guys have been successful. They know how to work with each other. They know how to trust each other, and you can work with them. That's an ideal one. Someone who's out 3 years, 4 years, right? Actually, someone who will listen to advice. Most business owners don't like paying advisors. They don't like spending money on professional advice. They don't even like paying money on getting their financials done correctly, much less somebody else. Yeah. So I need somebody who actually wants to have a win. Like, this is my win. This is what I want. I want $5 million in after-tax cash. And that's my definition of a win versus I just get up every day and I just keep doing what I do. And I don't know, we'll see what happens next year. Right. Yeah. So someone who knows what they want so we can develop a plan and they're ready to go after it. Right. So it's not somebody who says, I want to lose 20 pounds and not have a plan. Oh, I want to lose 20 pounds this year. No. We all want to lose 20, right? I want to know how are we going to get to that?
Starts in the kitchen. So outside of the type of person, what are just a few steps that people can do on day one to be prepared for an exit, whether that's, year 5, year 10, because as you know, it all starts on day one, having all, the right things in place.
The first step is going to be figure out what you're going to do next. Mm-hmm. How are you going to feel relevant in your life? My number one, what are you going to do to fill your batteries? Don't pretend that you're going to be an entrepreneur your whole life and you're going to go sit on a porch and be happily ever after. Be a coach, be a mentor, don't say I'm going to go join the church. Like, find something that stimulates you. That is who you are. You are. I have to find other ways to help other people, but find that and start that now so it can be something that you're doing. 2 is figure out your personal budget how much do you need to live? Because
Mm.
people say I need more, but the reality is they don't really understand how much they're running through their company.
That's right.
You know, they're using this company as a personal checkbook and a lifestyle. And when you shut that spigot off and you have to use after-tax cash, you need to know what that number is. So you know that you have enough in reserves to live the lifestyle you have, because this is a one-shot wonder.
That's
right.
That's some real honest advice right there, people. Trust me. Write that one down right now.
Yeah. So get a personal budget. And then my third one would be sell the company when the company is ready, not when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Because the market will tell you where you are involved in the company. Maybe it's going to outgrow you. Maybe it's taken off. Maybe it requires some capital infusion. Maybe you got an interested buyer because this is really niche for you right now. It's okay to sell it when the company is ready. Don't wait till when you're ready, because the company might already have passed its prime.
I was going to say, I'm sure that happens plenty of times. Company passes its prime and you were too stubborn to realize it. Yep. And now you're on the downhill slope, going in the wrong direction.
Yep. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Good advice. Tell us about your book briefly before we wrap this thing up.
All right. So Exit and Answers, I wrote this 15 years ago after I sold my company, and I was just trying to help other business owners and found the pattern that I was kind of normal. It was cathartic, right? It was like a divorced person who's been through divorce, writes a divorce. I'm an entrepreneur, sold my company, didn't like the experience, was irritated, didn't know I was going to pay that much in taxes. And I wanted to give people, it's a business owner talking to other business owners. This isn't professional speak. This isn't a CP. This is not investment banker. These are things, the words you need to start learning. This is that what's really going to happen. And here's how the process works. Because no one really sits, there is no place that's telling you how this process is going to work. And I just wanted to help people see that there is a process and understand it at a very first level. So then we can help them take it from there.
John, when I listened to you talk today, everything sounds like it's all very high level, outside the fact that you said you have a lot of solo entrepreneurs come in. What size business should consider a real exit? Is it the guy making $100,000, or is it the guy making $1 million? What size business? Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs that are making a couple $100,000 a year, and they don't take it as important as I think that they should.
So again, it depends. The smaller solopreneurs that are making 100 to 200 grand, it's a lifestyle business.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, it's okay to have a lifestyle business because that's how they're living their life. The value might only be a couple $100,000 or 400 grand, 1 or 2 times what they're making. And that's fine for them, because they're going to get something out of it. But when you have a lifestyle business and you are the business, remember, buyers are looking at it once you leave. Mm-hmm. Not what you're doing with it. So if you are the business and the business leaves, or like in dentists, there's a discount, like a 40% discount in dentistry, because so many people leave their dentist when you sell the dental practice. You'll see a big turnover in professional services, attorneys, CPAs, financial planners, dentists, veterinarians, contractors, engineers, because it's all personal relationships. How do you transition that? And that's okay. Just be aware of it. And so you're happy. The game here is there is no right answer. The answer is there's no regrets when you leave. Employees don't feel regret when they walk out the door and they say, I'm done. Thank you, company. They don't feel any regret. Why do business owners feel regret?
Yeah.
There's no reason to feel regret. Just find that reason and own it. And whatever that answer is the right answer for you.
I love it. John, I appreciate your time today. This is really, critical information for people when they're looking to move, make a change, sell their business. And we've seen a lot of shakeup the last few years with COVID and post-COVID. And I think people really discovering what their values are and realizing, hey, maybe I've been in the wrong swimming pool. I got to move out, So timing is perfect. Actually, when we get off the line, I got a referral for you, I think. So the book, I saw it's on Amazon. If you listen to the show, it's Exit and Answers. I'll put it in the show notes. Check it out, especially if you're looking at a transition down 5 years down the road. Don't wait too long. So, John, appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Thank you. And thank you for what you do.
That's my pleasure. All right. Well, if you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend. We'd love to get the word out there. Got a lot of episodes for people to follow along, and we got a lot of great new guests in the next month.
Thank
so
you
look forward
for
to hearing from
listening
y'all.
to
Thank you.
today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.